When it comes to foods for anxiety, there's not much of a correlation. There are some foods that, they say if there's any sort of chronic anxiety or chronic depression, nothing so short term is going to correlate. But for anything that is considered chronic, obviously always talk to your doctors about, if there's any medications to be on. There are medications to help with anxiety, and we definitely shouldn't feel this chronic anxiety that's taking over. And of course, talk to your doctor about that. But for people that do feel this way, there are some foods that we can include into our diets. And they're usually things that are just high in antioxidants, as well as things that are, considered to have some sort of anti-inflammatory chemicals in these foods. I don't want to use the word chemicals, but for lack of a better word, anti-inflammatory properties, I should say, using things like spices, dried spices, dark chocolate, berries, those are high in antioxidants, high in these anti-inflammatory properties. These are all going to be good. A lot of the time, anxiety or depression comes from there's a little bit more inflammation. So just making sure that we're getting those foods in our diet can be helpful. And even if they may not, make the worlds of a difference, it's worth a try. It's worth, consuming foods that can be helpful to us.
What I'm doing, I'm going to make an asparagus dish, and also I'm going to make a marinara sauce. I'm making this sauce just because the jars do carry like a lot of sugar and they're really high in sodium, and you can make the most delicious sauce with the most simplest ingredients. But before I start the sauce, I'm going to get this because it's going to go in the oven. Okay, so I'm getting my asparagus right now. All right, I'm going to just break off where it snaps is where it's good. So you can just break off your ends like that. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a touch of olive oil on these, just a drizzle, and then I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, roll that around so it gets on everything. Pinch of pepper. All right, just going to roll them out, lay them as flat as you possibly can. And then we're going to cut some tomatoes. So I've got these most beautiful tomatoes. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm using so many tomatoes today because got tomatoes on the vine and these little mini ones, and they're beautiful. So I'm going to just quickly put them in half. Then I'm going to add a thing of garlic. You don't have to add the garlic, I don't like it, but it's in the recipe, so I'm going to add, and I like garlic. Bit salt and pepper. And then I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil and mix up these tomatoes in 1 second. But before I do that, I'm just going to put Parmesan cheese. Okay, I'm going to do some ribbons of Parmesan cheese. Ribbons. This is a good one to try. And we're going to add, when this is all cooked up, we're going to add fresh basil and like a balsamic glaze that you'll see at the end. All right, so we're just going to put these tomatoes, and they're going to go in the oven for about 15-20 minutes. I put mine on 300. Okay, we're going to let them cook, and then after they're cooked, we're going to dress them up. I'll show you the end recipe. Let me just chuck these in the oven right now. I'm going to put this on. I put some oil in the pan. This is for your sauce. Honestly, this is such a simple recipe, and it's really worth it. And this stays in the refrigerator. You can just make some of this and put it in a glass jar. You can have it in the fridge for a couple of days. Always make sure you wipe your cans. You never know where they've been. So I usually use the tuna roaster, crushed tomatoes. And sometimes I use the fire roasted because I love fire roasted tomatoes as well. They're good. They're very good. They just give them that little boost. All right, so I'm going to put some onions in here. I'm going to saute the onions with some garlic. I'm going to put some salt and pepper. I do add a little tiny bit of garlic powder to this, just, after it's got hot, just to take off the citrusy. No sugar goes into this. So we make that so it's nice and translucent. And I usually put fresh parsley. Today I'm going to use a basil. Open the pan, two more sections, so that gets a little bit more translucent. The smell is yum. So there's the salt, right? And as I said, basil or parsley, or you can use both. If you like both, use both. Why not?
You use the flat leaf parsley when you do that, yeah?
I use the flat, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really use the curlies. I haven't.
Yeah.
All right, so while that's cooking, I made some pasta, but with my pasta, I didn't want it to be too big, so I spiralized some zucchini. I'm going to put this in the pan just for 2 seconds, then add it to the pasta. So instead of having all pasta, you think you're eating pasta when you're eating spiralized zucchini. Like I made the pasta, I put the sauce on it already. I'm going to heat this up just for 2 seconds, literally, because this really could cook in the hot sauce as well. But for me, I'm just going to do this for just for 2 seconds. Literally a pinch of salt. If you don't have a spiralizer, use this. It works. And so I'm going to literally just cover this a little bit. Get that cold raw out.
I love that idea because it's filling and you also get extra vegetables as part of it too. That's great.
Yeah. And you can like hide these in, you have children and that. It's really good. I used to hide, you know what I used to hide into my marinara? So I used to put Swiss chard in it. I used to love
nice.
it.
Yeah, no, that would be really good.
Yeah. When the kids were little and I wanted to get veggies in them.
They didn't know. Yeah.
Right, so that's gonna go in there. My spiralized zucchini. And then just for 2 seconds, you see my beautiful tomatoes.
Gorgeous.
And you've got fresh basil on there as well. You can put them in. Obviously, you're going to mix it up. All right, let me show you the after. This is the asparagus. Okay, so you see
it's my God, beautiful.
It's like the balsamic glaze and the Parmesan.
Oh my goodness.
And then this is my zucchini pasta. And as Ariel mentioned, we have our antioxidants and dark fruits for, keeping our mind healthy. And the water of the week is fresh basil and blueberries.
Beautiful, Sam. I know, it looks so good.
I'd love to be at your house right now. I am going to a different part of the world today. I am making an Indian dish and actually not 100% certain how to pronounce this. I was looking for something very rich in vegetables. As I said, I think the weather just really inspired me yesterday. And so it's called Baingan Aloo ki Sabji. And I think people just call it Baingan for short. You'll find it pretty much in most Indian restaurants. There's many, many different ways to make it. You can add, obviously vegetarian. I'm making it today vegetarian, strictly using vegetables. The whole idea is to really use a lot of these Indian spices to bring out the flavors of these vegetables. And that's really what it does. It's such a delicious recipe. The smell is so intoxicating. It's really amazing. So the first thing we're going to do is you can use canola oil. I always prefer to use avocado oil over canola oil, just because it is a little bit of a healthier oil to use. I wouldn't use an olive oil here because you want to use something with a high smoke point. So I'm using some olive oil, always my oil of choice for a high smoke point. Again, you can use anything that you want. Then what we're going to do is we're going to toast some cumin seed in the avocado oil. Toasting seeds in general really brings out flavor, especially when you're using, anything that's, like store-bought or anything of that sort. If you're going to an Indian market and you're finding it, you may not need to toast it as much, but when you're using just regular bought cumin seeds, definitely you want to toast them. I'm going to toast them for a few minutes. The smell of that alone just smells so delicious, and it really just needs you to finish the rest of this recipe. Yeah, so we're going to toast those for a few minutes. We really want to get those flavors out. I toasted them for probably about 3 minutes. I'm going to let that sit for a bit and just kind of talk to you about the rest of ingredients that are going in there. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to chop an onion. So I have 1 onion chopped. You can do 1.5 depending on the size of your onion. Mine's a big onion, so I did 1. But you definitely want that taste of onion in there. So Don't be skimpy on the onion. Already the smell of this cumin is just so delicious, and it's not even been in there for a minute. So I'm gonna kind of let that toast for another minute or two before you add anything else, because again, you only want the oil almost focusing on just these cumin seeds, just really toasting that up. Once you really start to get a nice smell after, you know, a few minutes, you want to add your onions. And the smell of this together, again, is just so delicious. And so you want to mix that up. You want the cumin to mix the cumin seeds to mix with our onions. And get that all together. And then we want to cook our onions in there until they are translucent. So about a minute or so. I'm gonna let that cook. And then the next two things that we're gonna put in is eggplant and potato. And this is gonna be like the meat. Let's say that hearty part, the heartiness of this dish, the meaty part of the dish, I should say. So I have some eggplant. What you want to do with the eggplant is you don't need to salt it. We don't really need to get the liquid out of it, but what we do want to do is we want to soften it a bit. So after we chop it, just for about 10-15 minutes, soak it in some warm water. So I cubed mine, I soaked it in some warm water, and then I have a potato. You can cube it a little bit bigger. I did it smaller so that it just takes a little bit shorter right now to cook. But in the original one that I made that I'll show you soon, they were a little bit bigger just because I kind of wanted to keep the potato and the eggplant in a similar size so that it just is all in one bite. Okay, so our onions are getting there in terms of its translucency. I'm gonna put in our eggplant. And then I'm gonna put in our potato at the same time. And again, you're gonna mix all of this up with oil and onions and the cumin seed. And the smell already with just this, with no spices, is so delicious. And it really just goes to show you that it takes such simple ingredients to create delicious flavor. And that's actually something I really do admire about Indian cooking, is I find it's really so focused on just the herbs and spices, and there's no sauces. There are some sauces there, it's all about making sauces, those herbs and spices, and I really admire that, because I think that herbs and spices are so delicious. They're such important ingredients, and they really use their herbs and spices to make delicious food. So I admire that a lot. So obviously this isn't gonna cook perfectly because I want to show you. So we have our eggplant and our potato cooking really nicely. I'm just gonna show you how it looks right now. So it's cooking there. You want it to get like a little bit cooked and soft. But in the meantime, I'm gonna add our spices. Here, this is gonna be like the sauce part of our dish. So we're gonna do about a tablespoon of ground cumin. We're gonna do a little bit of ground coriander, about half a teaspoon of ground coriander, which I actually really love. Chili powder, use as much or as little as you want. I like a little bit of heat, but not too much. So I add probably a quarter of a teaspoon, but it does give it a really nice bit of heat. And I think it does need it. Then we're gonna use turmeric, which is a very, well-known Indian spice, which I happen to love. Use about a teaspoon of turmeric. Really is so pretty. And then you're gonna mix all of that together, and you already see just the colors forming so nicely. I'm gonna show you again, the vegetables aren't as cooked as I would like it to be, just to kind of show you. So you wanna mix that together.
Nice.
And then the last thing we're gonna add before we add some water and let this cook is gonna be our tomatoes. I took one large tomato and I cubed it. We're gonna add the tomatoes, and again, the tomatoes are actually really gonna bring a lot of that liquid that we need to kind of make this into like a uniformed dish. Again, we're gonna just mix that up. And we wanna add a sprinkle of water. All intents and purposes, this is supposed to be like a more dry dish. So we don't want it to be very wet and watery and saucy. We want there to be a little bit of liquid, just really to help cook and break down these vegetables, but we still want it to be a little bit more dry. So I'm gonna get a sprinkle of water, like really a little bit of water, very little, you see here. Gonna sprinkle that on there, mix this all up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on low. And I'm gonna just show you what it looks like with all these vegetables here.
Wow.
That's yummy.
pretty.
I love eggplant.
The smell is, again, it's so good. And then you're just gonna cover it and you're gonna keep eye on it. The last one I made took about 15 minutes to really get soft. The potatoes probably could have been a little softer. I probably could have left them in for another few minutes. It may not be the prettiest, especially now, but it is so delicious. And you see everything just really gets nicely, all
Gorgeous.
the colors kind of just all blend and make one really delicious dish. It's so delicious. It smells so good. And it really just uses such simple ingredients, which is what I love. And really what I wanted to highlight about Indian diet or the Indian culture in terms of, you know, what they eat and their cooking.